Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with BN and our community.
Good afternoon, evening, or morning. Welcome to In the Cut, the show that gets you up close and personal with Black non-believers in our community. My name is Edith Gray, and I am your host for the show today. If you are new to the channel, In the Cut is a production of Black Non-Believers, a 501c3 organization headquartered in the Atlanta area. We connect with other Blacks and allies who are living free of religion and might otherwise be shunned by family and friends by providing a caring, friendly, and informative community. Instead of accepting dogma, we determine truth and morality through reason and evidence. The mission of Black Non-Believers is to provide secular fellowship. We nurture and support non-believers in coming out. We encourage pride in non-religious identities. We educate the public on the history and current state of non-belief in the Black community. We organize events and charitable causes at BlackNonbelievers.org. Black Non-Believers welcomes all, regardless of age, gender identity, sexual identity, national origin, or racial identity. However, our content and our work prioritizes Black non-religious voices. At this time, I want to welcome founder and president of Black Non-Believers, Mandisa Thomas, to the show. Welcome to the show, Mandisa.
Hey, what's going on, Edith? It is good to see you for another episode of ITC. We are off and running for 2025. And we got some really, really good stuff coming up. And I just want to start by thanking everyone who has tuned in today, as well as to our last episode and in the future. And so we are coming up, Edith, as you know, on the annual King holiday celebration, celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and, there's going to be all sorts of, commemorations and celebrations like around the country and probably across the world too.
Yep.
And we're going to be paying homage to Dr. King through a virtual event that we'll be doing on Monday. For those the celebration is always on the third Monday of January. It's a federal holiday, which doesn't always fall on his actual birthday, which is January 15th. So, this would have been his 96th birthday. I mean, if he was still alive. So this is his 96th birthday. And we like to also acknowledge the pluralism of Dr. King and his work. And we will be doing more of that in a virtual event called The Humanist King, which shout out to Cynthia McDonald, who is over our Chi-Town affiliate, and who is going to be leading a discussion about Dr. King and his pluralism. And I know I'll have a few things to add to that discussion as well. He was more than just the I Have a Dream speech. There are so many people who tend to gloss over that. I know that is some of his most famous words, but his activism and his work went well beyond that. And so we hope that you will join us for this very, very fruitful and informative discussion, as well as, engaging about things you may have known or may not have known about Dr. King. And his legacy. So we definitely want to pay homage in the way that that is rightfully, so his, because we know that a lot of the events tend to be very, very churchy and religious. And in all fairness, he was still a Baptist minister, for the record. But even in his religious, even in that, he was still very pluralistic. And so it's important for us to continue to acknowledge that in his legacy.
One quick thing I wanted to say is, I don't know who all is watching today, but some may not be familiar or understand fully what pluralism really means. To my understanding, it's someone who reaches across the table to people of other beliefs and faiths to do collaborative work, right? Is that kind of the basic general?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah, to be pluralist means
Mm-hmm.
that you are, and it's also interfaith work, but yes, being
Yeah.
pluralistic means that you are collaborating and working with folks from different perspectives, different backgrounds, and having a good understanding of it as well. Even
Mhm.
if you don't agree, there are
Yeah.
commonalities that we share amongst each other. And I think it's important for even the religious community to start acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And there are some aspects of religious folks who are doing that, but it's still, as we continue to, in some cases, dread the incoming administration,
Yeah.
um, and its Christian nationalist leanings, that we are, definitely, staying aware and being prepared for what is coming. So,
Right. Right. It is. It's just really. I don't know how to put it. When you look at the day that we're going to be celebrating King's legacy, is a day when our current political uh, what political climate has a very racist administration about to take hold. I mean, I'll say super racist
mhm,
because they're all racist. Let's be real. Even those that try not to be, because of it's systemic in nature. But the incoming administration is just mask off, completely mask off.
mhm.
They're in your face,
Yes,
and they continue to use Dr. King's legacy and words in the worst ways possible. And
absolutely.
they've
Yes, they
weaponized
do. Oh my gosh, they really, really do.
they've
It's
weaponized
so,
this legacy and his words in ways that's just really gross. That's putting it
yes,
mild. So
absolutely. And we want to remind folks that earlier this year we rolled up our membership platform. We rolled it out. We appreciate everyone who has become an official member so far. And you receive access, to discounts on our upcoming events, and exclusive information and first access information within Black Nonbelievers. And I'm also happy to announce that the discount code for the Revival of Reason is available on the registration form. And yesterday, if you watched me on Hostility, you saw me announce a very special keynote speaker we will have for the Revival of Reason virtually, Mr. Mubarak Bala,
yeah,
who is Nigerian activist. For those of you who don't remember or aren't familiar, he is the former president of the Humanists of Nigeria, who criticized Islam in a Facebook post and was arrested and detained by Nigerian authorities in the northern part, and his attorneys and families had a hard time getting a hold of him. They were finally able to, but in 2022, in 2021 he pled guilty, but then in 2022 he received a 24-year sentence for the crime of, the quote unquote crime of blasphemy. And
mhm,
so there was a worldwide outcry. I know that here at BN, we joined in the Free Mubarak Bala campaign. We lent our voices to reaching out to the U.S. Council on International Religious Freedom. Humanists International intervened. There were many organizations and many people who joined the rally cry to get him freed. And so late last year, he was released from prison, and he's now a free man. But there are still dangers and that await, and his safety is still in jeopardy. But we are definitely happy to, we're actually gonna have him on the show as well. But he's also going to be our keynote speaker for the Revival of Reason. So especially for those of you who would like to register to tune in virtually, you can do so. But anyone, if you are in the Atlanta area or nearby, if you want to travel to the Atlanta area to join us in our Revival of Reason, please do so. We're going to have a wonderful time. It's going to be educational. It's going to be supportive. And you're really, really going to learn a lot and have that real community experience with Black non-believers. There's also going to be music and entertainment. There's going to be a spades tournament that Friday night at the cookout. So for those who are interested in either learning or, competing, especially if you're good, definitely shut up, Edith.
But, I didn't say anything. I said
right. you better get your tutelage on before the revival. So
yes, ma'am.
But yes. But yes, and so just a reminder as well that your support for our organization and our work is important. Reminder that our channel is monetized, so please drop us a super chat through this live episode, and also you can do so through watching our previous episodes as well. So yes, please donate, send us a super chat on here. You really, really help us a lot. And so yeah, we have some great stuff coming up for 2025, and we would love for you to continue to be there with us, and as we are here for you. So definitely we want to continue to bring you the very, very high quality of work and content that we have here at Black Non-Believers. Shout out to everyone who is on our team, especially you, Edith, for being a host on the show. Shout out to Kelly, who is in the back helping moderate and share information. So yes, it's we definitely appreciate it, and I'm so glad that we have like a fellow content producer and creator for our guest today, because it's just such an iconic. I think that this has become institutional. The person we're interviewing. So I'm really, really glad that he's here with us today. So I don't know if you had anything else to add before we get started, Edith.
No, I just wanted to say you did a great job with Matt Dillahunty the other night. I was watching the stream and was trying to jump on and do some super chats, but my tech skills of an older Gen Xer caught up with me, and I was like, I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, great show last night. I'll work on that too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So now it is our pleasure to introduce our special guest, Greg James. Greg James is currently the executive producer for the Atheist Community of Austin. It's a 501c3 organization that promotes as its mission atheism, critical thinking, secular humanism, and the separation of religion and government. The ACA does this through YouTube shows like Atheist Experience, Talk Heathen, Truth Wanted, and the nonprofits. Greg is directly responsible for all aspects of production and promotion of the shows and the ACA in general. Greg grew up in Southern California, and after graduating high school, he went on to Cal State Northridge, where he majored in computer science. After finishing college and after a brief stint as a recording artist, he went on to work as a web developer creating interactive content for the Hollywood movie entertainment industry, which he did for over 20 years. Approximately 5 years ago, he moved to Texas and got involved with the ACA. Greg has been married to his wife, Annette, for nearly 30 years, has one daughter, and recently became a grandfather. When he isn't working on show-related things, he enjoys playing video games, watching movies, and doing some woodworking hobbies. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you. We're really glad you are here. So as we ask all of our guests, please share your religious upbringing and how you arrived at your atheist identity.
Okay, here we go. This is about a 40-year journey, so it was long and it wasn't always deliberate, but I am where I am now, I guess. As was said before, I primarily grew up in California. My father was a career U.S. Marine, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom. And we grew up Catholic. I went to Catholic school for the first 8 years of my life. I was very engaged and very in line with what Catholicism was, to the point where at a certain point I thought about becoming a priest, entering the seminary. In general, even though my family was religious, we were not necessarily regular church-going people. I would characterize us as what I like to call obligation Catholic, meaning that if you know anything about the Catholic religion, they have holy days of obligation, which are maybe their recognition that people are not going to go to church all the time, but they want to get them in on the big money days. So Christmas, Easter, feast days, things of that sort. So while we were religious, I don't know that we were necessarily, again, not church going, not necessarily devout, but the beliefs were there. Anyway, I graduated kind of as was stated. High school, I went on to major in computer science. And I found that once I got out of my household where these religious concepts were being reinforced on a regular basis, I started to lose a general interest in religion itself. For a very long time, I was still a believer in God, but I never went to church. I never really prayed unless I had a serious exam coming up in school, or if I had possibly had a little bit too much partying the night before and was making the obligatory, please get me through this and I'll never do it again, until I did it again, clearly. But yeah, so I kind of gradually put religion on less and less of a important part in my life. Regarding kind of what I might define as kind of the pivotal moments, I guess, of my life. The first time I ever started to question religion was probably back in elementary school in the 7th grade, because I was an altar boy at the time. And I remember, to the best that I can, as a 7th grader back then, we were in the middle of a service and I was making the 3rd collection of the service. The first one, obviously, was money collected to support the church. And the second one was collection for a special construction project that the church had going on. And as I remember, the 3rd one was one that we had discussed in class, which was we were buying a goat for a family in another country or something like that. But anyway, it started occurring to me that why does God need all this money? And I specifically asked the priest this after the service. I asked him, we're doing a lot of collection of money. A lot of it's coming to the church. Why do we have to collect this money? And he kind of gave me an excuse that, well, we're not sending the money to God. We're obviously keeping the money, and this allows us to kind of spread his word, which didn't set well with me, because the next logical question in my brain was, why can't God just give you the money directly? I mean, it's not like he couldn't come up with it. And the priest was not particularly happy about that. And he kind of gave me some dismissive reason about people helping people or something, and then found a convenient way of needing to do something elsewhere. So that was kind of the first kind of questioning moment. But I think probably my epiphany moment was roughly about 18 years ago, when I was working as a programmer. I wasn't particularly paying attention to what was going on around me, but I started hearing 2 people arguing. Found out what was going on. it was a couple of people who had a history of not necessarily getting along very well with each other. But the basis of the argument this time was that there was some problematic thing, and this was a project manager who had sent out an email, and as part of their email, they kind of ended the email with, "Oh dear baby Jesus, I hope this works out." The other person that was arguing with her basically stated, so that everybody in the office could hear, "I'm an atheist and I don't believe in Jesus, so why the hell would you put that in a business email?" Up to that point, I don't really think I had. I don't remember hearing the term atheist. I wasn't quite sure what it was. But then when I found out, it kind of led me to the thing that I had never thought, that not believing in God was an actual thing that people could do. I thought everybody believed in God. People just believed in different gods, but it never occurred to me that not believing was an actual thing. And I think that's where I really started getting out of the whole mindset of being a believer, examining my beliefs. And then I started going down these weird rabbit trails of just consuming as much information as I could to find out if this was something I still wanted to believe in, if I had a reason to believe in it. And I remember uh, working in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, actually, there was a store called The Last Bookstore, which was a 2-level um, kind of new and used bookstore. And they had, of course, they took all the religious stuff and specifically the atheist stuff, and they threw it in a corner of the building on the second floor, which was difficult to get to. But I think I almost emptied their entire selection of atheist literature, and continued to read it. And I think that's kind of how I really started to walk in the way. And this was even before I was starting to watch things on YouTube, from places like the ACA, from places like um, all of the other content creators that were and actually are still on at this time. So, um, I mean, it was kind of um, eye-opening, I guess you might say, to realize that there was actually a possibility that I didn't have to believe everything I was taught. And I mean, since then, there's been no looking back. I've continued to kind of revise my knowledge on things, and now I'm in a possibly enviable position where I have worked with a lot of the people that were formative in getting me away from my religion. And even further than that, I am now working with some of the up and coming voices and hearing tons of different perspectives on different things that are just kind of um, really still kind of eye opening to me. And I enjoy being in a position to expose other people to that as well. So that's kind of how I got here, I guess.
Okay. So a quick couple of questions on that. The first one, I was wondering, you heard, so how long ago was it where you were in this office situation where you first heard that word atheist? And do you ever wonder where that person is now, or do you keep in contact with any of your old workmates?
I think it was probably about, as best as I can recall, it was about 18-ish years ago.
Okay.
And I did for quite a while keep up with him, because he was like once I heard it, I had to know more about it.
Yeah.
So I started going to lunch with him. I'm like, what the hell is this atheist stuff about? What does it mean? And it's a lot of the things that you'll hear on shows that we put on, shows that you put on. I don't believe all of this. I looked into it. I don't believe it. So
yeah. Right. And I think, what was my other question? Gosh, now I can't remember. But yeah, so you so it's been about 18 years, and you are now feeling as though you're even seeing new perspectives on the horizon out of the
Yes.
out of the whole community of non-belief, which I don't know if I said that right, but you can speak for yourself. I'll come back to that next question. I know it's going to pop up later,
Okay.
but so you had a move, a geographical move.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a culture shock to move from Texas? I mean, to move to Texas from California, and did it motivate you to find a community in the South?
I will say yes and no in the style that I normally am not always fully committal on things, but I'll explain what I mean by that, I guess. Um, yes, it was a culture shock in going from a extremely liberal state like California, where I feel like acceptance of other religion or other cultures, basically any sort of diversity is much more accepted than I feel it is in Texas. And then coming to Texas and seeing, I thought it was bad, and there was a joke about in Los Angeles. I forget the comedian, but he made a joke that there was you could drive down any street and see a church and a liquor store, and then another church, and you couldn't throw a rock from a church and not hit another church effectively. But it seems like all that was really amped up when I came to Texas. Adding in the kind of the nationalistic stuff, the kind of I don't want to say I wasn't ever exposed to overt racism, but just kind of the casualness in which it seems to manifest itself here in Texas. Was quite a bit of a shock. But the reason why I said no is because when I did come to Texas, I originally landed in Austin, which for most people is the California of Texas. So I think it kind of eased my landing in Texas, because it was not the overt racism I kind of experienced in Texas was not within the city limits of Austin itself. It was if I were to drive from Austin to where I live now in San Antonio, and I unfortunately got off on the wrong exit in one of the tiny little towns, I could see the faces. I could hear comments. There was a point at which I had a guy in an Aryan Brotherhood leather cut riding a motorcycle drive up to me. He didn't say anything. He didn't do anything, but it was obvious I was not welcome in his area. And I got my ass the hell out of there as quickly as I could. But mostly in the larger areas of Texas, I found San Antonio, Austin, probably Dallas. It is much more kind of, I guess, maybe a little more liberal, maybe more accepting of other people. But yeah, you get down the wrong street and I hear the banjos playing.
Yeah, my mother's from Texas, and there is I kind of do forget that, yeah, if you get out of the major urban areas, you still have this type of situation.
Yeah.
But so it wasn't a culture shock because Austin, as you say, is sort of like it's an island.
Yeah.
It's an island in Texas.
Yes.
We've got, I don't know if we're supposed to do this part of the show, but we've got a super chat from Cynthia McDonald. ACA shows help me deconstruct when leaving religion. Nice to see Greg here.
I appreciate that, Cynthia, and understand the feeling is mutual. I mean, I've learned a lot of things from a lot of people being in this position, hearing them speak. Cynthia's always been a very strong, very logical, very educated voice in everything that she's done for us. I mean, she contributes all the time. She's actually a co-producer on one of our shows. And So, I mean, I really appreciate hearing things like that, and just know that it actually is, it is mutual. I feel kind of the same way about you. So
Cool. So that kind of brings us to the next question I have for you. And it's pretty much already what you said. Have you found how much reward, or have you found it rewarding to produce content that has helped educate and liberate people across the world?
yeah, it can be a bit humbling, because there are times when I can get mired down in the details of the production, knowing, okay, I have 4 shows to take care of. I have another 10 to 15 videos to produce, and we have special projects going on, and I have 10, 15 meetings a week with different people. So it's easy to kind of lose sight of the larger picture of what we're doing, what we're able to accomplish as an organization. Um, but there are things that will occur that will remind me of it. One of the things that is kind of most indicative to me of we're actually doing something that means something to people is getting the emails that we get oftentimes. It's a fairly regular occurrence now that the ACA will get an email, and I'm actually able to see a lot of these emails that come in. We get emails from people who say we've made a positive change in their life. They're very emotionally driven emails. They're very thankful. They're grateful for what we do. They're supportive of what we do. And we find that a lot of those emails that we get are falling into 2 different categories. Either the ACA has provided them with that first kind of, as I said, I had my moment as an altar boy. It's that first moment where you say, that makes sense. That goes against what I'm believing. And it's that first little nudge they need to start questioning. And inversely, the other most popular one that we get is on the other end of the spectrum. It is, I had almost all but released any religious beliefs that I had, but I was holding on to it because of this one reason, whether that be a fear of hell, or a fear of what will happen if I make my voice known, or I'm the only person in my entire town that feels this way. And through the shows, we've been able to kind of dispel that last little piece. So it's more than I guess I ever anticipated coming into the position with. And I will be honest, I agreed to take this position partially because I was a little bit jealous of what my wife was doing, who was she's a counselor. She's making an impact on the lives of people that she works with. And I always kind of had this feeling that, yeah, I've done a lot of really notable work. I've won a lot of awards online for the work that I did, but it's all really not affecting other people's lives, except to the extent where, okay, that's a really cool thing you did there. What's the next thing you're going to do? So it was all kind of insignificant in the long run. So I saw this as a chance to come in and possibly get some of that feeling that she gets in making an impact in somebody's lives, helping somebody kind of come to a better understanding of who they are and what they're about, and being able to support that in the way that we are. So
fantastic. Yeah, and I also have to say that the Experience, ACA shows helped me also when I was leaving. I had left religion back when I, left my parents' house. Pretty much, I'd left that behind, but still hung on to the belief in God until I was well into my 40s, and then the ACA was there, and I started watching the shows religiously on Sundays. And yes, it did help me a lot. So
I'm glad to hear that.
So tell us about this brief recording career that I spoke about in the introduction. Where can we find this music material?
I feel like I knew this was going to come back to haunt me as soon as I put it. I wrote a little bit of a thing up to kind of introduce who I was. I was asked for a bio, and I threw it in there, and then I sent it, and then I thought, oh shit, what if they pick up on that? Don't pick up on it. Don't pick up on it. And
nope, gonna do it.
We're gonna do it. So, yes, I will go through it. There's one caveat to what I'm going to say, though. It is probably not going to be very relevant to anybody under the age of 40-ish, because it happened back when I was in college, to kind of do a little build up to the reveal, I guess, here. Okay. While I was in college, a group of my friends and I saw that the college was putting on like a talent show, and like the grand prize was like $200, which for a dumb college kid at that time was like a ton of money. So we decided, hey, let's do something. Let's put something together. Let's see what we can do about it. So we, one of my friends was a DJ, so he had some equipment with him. So we decided we were going to do a song, and the song we did actually, in the time that we put it together, we were trying to think of songs to do, and a song that, or some of the music or some of the things that were in the news at the time of the song was in the era of Two Live Crew. When they did their Me So Horny song, and it was being protested by everybody and trying to be censored. So it was kind of the top song at the time. So we were trying to figure out, is there anything we can do with this song? So we put the song together. I wrote lyrics for it, and my friend who was the DJ put the music together. We got a couple of our other friends to kind of choreograph a dance to it. And then we did the talent show, and oddly enough, we did not win. We got second place, which I think was like $50, but we still all like ran over and bought food with it, and we were completely happy at it. But for the reveal, the song that we did was a parody of the song Me So Horny. The title of it is Me So Hungry. And I validated before we came on the show. If you go to YouTube and you type in Me So Hungry, you will find various versions of the video that we did.
Okay.
And I will say that this kind of blew up in a way I wasn't expecting, because it's one of those weird stories. Unbeknownst to us, in the audience of the talent show was a kind of music producer for a smaller music label, who came up to us after the show, and he said, "That's some of the funniest stuff I've heard in a long time. I have a small label. I want to talk to you guys about maybe recording it and distributing it as a song."
Okay.
All we heard was, "And there may be an advance involved with it." So that's all we had to hear as far as wanting to be involved with it. So yeah, we did. We went through that process. We took the song out of the, I think, the living room of the dorm room where we had originally produced it. We went into a professional studio. We recorded on professional studio. It got released, and kind of took off. At a certain point, it started getting airplay on like national radio. And I can't remember the exact date, but I do recall that for a 2-week period, it was the #1 song in the nation that we did.
Okay.
After hearing that, Atlantic Records kind of contacted the other producer, and then we signed a actual contract with Atlantic Records. Their intention for signing us was we were going to be along the lines of a Weird Al Yankovic. So we would be putting out albums, and have roughly 50% of the music that we would put out would be this kind of parody music, and then the other 50% could be original concept stuff. But
awesome.
So yeah, that happened. Got on MTV, got on some of Martha Quinn's music lists, got on
Wow.
and it was weird because there was a service at that time, which I can't remember the name of the service, but it was a music video service where you could pay like 99 cents and request a video to be played. And I remember looking at it because I was curious, and I would watch it for about an hour, and our song would come up 5 or 6 times during that hour. So yeah, that's the that's kind of the story of it. It all ended because unfortunately the person who helped me produce it kind of did some backroom dealings, and group wound up kind of breaking up and then going on and actually living our lives. But yeah, that's my
Yeah, I thought you were going to say it ended because now I'm really old, because video killed the radio star.
No. Well, that would have worked in our favor though, but I mean,
right. But you get anyway. That's fantastic. I wanted to circle back and just ask a couple more questions if you have some time.
Yeah.
Going back to your journey away from faith, when you came out of faith, how was that with your family? Is your wife, is she religious? Is your family, are your children religious, or how did that play out with your family structure?
Well, I didn't have kids when I kind of was making that transition. I was kind of, well, I shouldn't say that. My kids were my child. I only have the one daughter, but she was young enough when I was kind of making the transition where she wouldn't have understood it anyway. My wife and I started our relationship kind of as we weren't atheists, but I think we were still believers. But again, we weren't church-going people. But she along with me is now an atheist. I would say she's an even more ardent, outspoken atheist than I am. I have to calm her down sometimes, which is funny. But I didn't get a lot of pushback because my mom passed away when my daughter was just a year old. So I didn't have any kind of reaction from her on that because I hadn't fully developed my kind of way of thinking about it. My dad, I was estranged from, so I never heard. And my side of the family was very small. I don't think we spoke about it up until fairly recently, but my daughter, we ironically sent her to a Christian school, but we were very emphatic about, we're not sending you to this Christian school for you to love Jesus, basically. We're sending you there because the schools in our area were notorious for not being a good source of education. So we sent her there for the education, and he said, you're going to hear about it. You have questions, you can come back and ask us about it. And thankfully, I don't know that I've ever heard my daughter indicate that she's an atheist, but I get the impression she might be, because I get little things like, none of those stories ever made sense to me.
Right.
I would hear them in school and I'm like, that's just nonsense. Or so.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that was really all I had. Mandisa, did you have any questions for Greg?
Yes. So, Greg, I just want to confirm that the name of the group was MC Pillsbury and the Four Large Boys.
Yes.
I found it.
Was.
Yes.
I think I might have heard that song. If it was on the top of the chart, I must have heard that at least a time or two.
You may recall it you're clearly, Edith, you're far too young to remember this while it was happening. So I mean,
okay, you're not getting any checks. You don't have to.
Oh my gosh.
But no, that long kind of ungainly title came out because we started as the too large crew in full parody with the two live crew. And then I guess there were some legal considerations. But yes, I was MC Pillsbury. One of the other guys was Spicy Chicken. So we came up with all these just weird, like jokey names. And it was just, it was a lot of fun when we were doing it.
And that was also right around the time that the Fat Boys were also a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Actually, I remember because when we were doing it, it was also when MC Hammer and his Can't Touch This was a really big song.
Yes.
And one of the, I actually got to perform not with him, but at the same venue because at the time, there was a radio station who did it was Power 106. I don't know if they still exist, but they were doing what they call Powerhouse, which is where radio stations will bring in all these very large name groups to do it. MC Hammer was the headliner. And I think when our song started coming out, we kind of got this invitation like, yeah, we have a little spot where you can do the song. Are you interested? So we went, we did it. And I remember it distinctly because it was the first time we ever had a dressing room, and we thought we were all just the hottest things ever to exist because we had a dressing room. So, but we did the show. We came back. We were kind of changing out, and we had the stage manager come in and say, "You guys got to get out of here because Hammer's crew is coming in." So as we were leaving, and you may know this about him, he rolled with like 70 or 80 people between dancers and stage people and backup singers and all that. So it was like, yeah, you guys did a great job. Get your ass out of the dressing room. We got more important people who need to come in here and do stuff. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. And I was always such a fan of parody hip hop, parody rap, comedy rap.
Weird Al.
Yeah.
Yes, Weird Al. And I remember there was a version of Me So Horny that was called Me So Jewish years ago.
Yeah.
And so, I always enjoyed, like, I remember the movie Fear of a Black Hat. And so, I absolutely always love parody and comedy rap. It's so much fun. So I am just so looking forward to absolutely watching this video.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be rocking that this weekend. Sure.
Yes. And it's just so fun to learn these things. I'm like, look at all the talented people we have in our community. This is just so fantastic. And so I just want to ask one final question. We were talking backstage and you were saying that, some of your favorite, y'all put together some of your favorite clips from some of the shows. Yeah. And you said that there was one in particular that you used as a thumbnail. Share with our audience what that was.
Yeah. Well, Mandisa's been on our shows several times, and I think she is possibly one of what we internally call our quadruple crown winners, which she's been on all 4 of the primary shows, I think, unless I'm mistaken, because you've been on Secular Sexuality, Truth Wanted, Talk Heathen, Atheist Experience.
Yeah.
I think even Nonprofits. So I think you're a quintuple.
Yes, I have been.
Winner.
Yeah, I have been on Nonprofits as well.
But I'm saying one of the things that we do at the ACA, because we find that we have a lot. I mean, we have just on Atheist Experience itself, we're in our 29th season. We have 28 full seasons of arguments and debates and information that I think is still to this day relevant to our audience. But generally what happens is they will only get notifications on the newest stuff. So they will not necessarily see some of our older and probably some of the best moments that we've had on our shows. So we put together this thing where we were calling them throwbacks, and we would repost really good segments from all of our other shows. And Mandisa, I was telling her, was on one of those shows. I want to say possibly with Tracy Harris. But the content of the call was such, and I don't even remember the subject. I just remember Mandisa's reaction at a certain point in the video, because YouTube has this thing now where you can test different thumbnails. So I would generally put 3 different thumbnails, one of the host, one of the co-host, and then occasionally I'll pull up either a AI generated one or another one that's kind of relevant to the call. But going through the call and looking for spots in the show where Mandisa, that would make a good thumbnail of Mandisa, I came across this moment, and it was just a face, and it was the only way I can describe it. And I think the way I described it was, in my mind, I'm looking at Mandisa, and Mandisa is saying, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" And it's this kind of off to the side, head tilted. No,
I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty notorious for that.
And I was like, "That's it. That's the shot we need to use."
Sometimes,
so.
yeah, that's they will pick out that one part and capture just the right emotion there.
Yeah. It was a moment in time. I was fortunate to find it while scrolling through, but I don't think another one would have been more applicable at that point. So
yeah, if I become famous for nothing else, it will definitely be my facial expressions, especially when I hear something crazy.
Yeah.
So yes,
absolutely.
That is all I had.
Okay.
Well, we want to thank you again, Greg, for being our guest today. If anybody watching is not already subscribed to the ACA shows and channels, there's all these ways that you can get connected with them. We've got it in the chat, the ACA website, the Atheist Experience, Talk Heathen, Truth Wanted, the nonprofits. You can even volunteer with the ACA. So there's numbers of ways you can get involved. We hope that you will partake. And again, Greg, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. I had fun. I was nervous coming in, but you put me at ease. So I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. We love to have fun on the show. Thank you, Greg.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was cool. Yes, I'm definitely going to go look up that video, or if somebody's already found it in the chat, please share.
I shared it in the chat, and I need to tag you because I shared it on Facebook too. So I'm going to tag you with it. I said Greg's probably going to figuratively kill me, but oh my gosh.
That's going to take me back to the bad old days, but
Hey, you know what? It's all in fun, and I definitely, as hip hop, of course, is our language. We are. It was so fun finding that. It was so fun learning about that. I'm so excited. But yeah, we could get to our announcements now because we have quite a few coming up. Yes.
Well, so Monday, I almost said tomorrow. Monday, January 20th. The Humanist King, Dr. King, Humanism and Inclusivity, presented by BN of Chi-Town. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is a Zoom meetup, so you can watch. This is a documentary. Mandisa?
No, it's going to be a live discussion. It's going to be led by Cynthia.
Okay.
We're going to be leading it, talking about Dr. King and his work, and really encouraging an interactive discussion as well as support for BN, of course. But yes, it's going to be a very, very educational and engaging forum.
Mark your calendars, folks, and we've got the link to that Zoom call. So then on Sunday, January 26th in Atlanta, Georgia, brunch and meet and greet at Virtual's Gullah Kitchen and Bar. That's going to be at West Midtown at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can find more about this event at meetup.com, BlackNonbelievers. Then on Sunday, February 16th, Chicago, Illinois, brunch and notes for Peace Reunion at Sweet Maple Cafe and the Epiphany Center for the Arts. This event starts at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Brunch is self-pay. The concert is free, however. We would really like you to do some RSVPs. They are required for attendance. You can find more about this event at meetup.com, Black Nonbelievers of Chi-Town, Chicago. And then in Detroit, Michigan, Black History Outing and Brunch at the Charles Wright Museum. It's going to be $15 admission, and the Boulevard Brunch House. It starts at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. This is another event that you can find out more on meetup.com, Black Nonbelievers of Metro Detroit. On Sunday, February 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia, we have the Petit Rouge. The Petit Rouge, I don't know if you want to do the French pronunciation or the American pronunciation, and that's going to be at the Synchronicity Theater at 5 p.m. It's a pay what you can day, so please arrive early. I like events like that where you pay what you can. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, and the Synchronicity is it's an intimate and fun theater. We watched Mufara's Beautiful Daughters there.
Right.
And a couple of other, there was one event that we watched about the Atlanta wash laundry strike, the Atlanta women's strike back in the early 1900s, where the Black washerwomen went on strike because they weren't being paid fairly. So we watched that there as well. They put on some very monumental events there.
Yes.
And productions. Is fantastic.
Yes, it is a very nice building, and yeah, I've enjoyed the theater production that I went to with Black Nonbelievers. I guess it was about 2 years ago.
Yes,
and so that is an event that you can find out more on Meetup, Black Nonbelievers events. So hope to see you at that one. Sunday, March 16th, Detroit, Michigan, a night of ballet with your B and family. It's featuring the world famous Alvin Ailey Dancer Ensemble at the Detroit Opera House at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This requires an RSVP. Kelly is awaiting your RSVP as soon as possible. Tickets are going fast. You can find more about this at Black Nonbelievers of Metro Detroit. Sunday, I don't know where Sunday came from. March 21st through the 23rd, Revival of Reason, The Homecoming. It's at the Oasis Event Center in Morrow, Georgia, featuring Chris Cameron, Candace Gorham, Jeremiah Camara, Nikki G, Cynthia McDonald, Kyria Santa, Mandisa Thomas, and others. Keynote speaker is going to be Nigerian activist Mubarak Bala, whom we spoke about earlier in the show today. A very inspiring story, and so I'm sure his remarks as the keynote speaker are going to be very, very interesting. Registration, sponsorship, and volunteer opportunities, and a hotel group rate is available. So you can find this stuff on Black Nonbelievers / Revival of Reason. Black Nonbelievers members get a discount for this event, so you can use your discount code. We hope that you all will join this Revival of Reason. I can't wait. November 1st, we're going to be at Beyond SeaCon. We are back sailing again. We hope that you'll join us on the Carnival Horizon, a state-of-the-art ship which features IMAX movie theater, 12 plus dining options, a sky ride, and more. You're going to be sailing from Miami, Florida. Our ports of call for 2025 are Ocho Rios, Jamaica, Grand Cayman Island, Cozumel, Mexico. Speakers include Leo Igwe, Jasmine Banks, Candace Gorham, Jeremiah Camara, Mandisa Thomas, Deana Williams, and others. Prices are going to start at $750 for this cruise, double occupancy. There are specialty cabins available as well as single cabins, and we will help you if you want to do a double cabin with someone. We'll help you find a cabin mate. Registration is open now, so your initial deposits are due by the end of the month, which is coming quickly, January 25th. So book before these rates go up. You can find all of the booking information at BNCCon 25. All right. Anything we want to say about I'm really looking forward to the Revival of Reason. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yes, and just a reminder that it's in person, it's hybrid, so it's going to be in person and virtual. So if you cannot make it to the Atlanta area for the in-person event, please do sign up to view online. And if you're an official BN member, the discount does apply to that as well. So just the FYI. So yes, please do support this event, help us promote it. And I want to thank California Free Thought Day for being one of our first sponsors for this event. We will have materials for, about California Free Thought Day, which takes place every October in Sacramento. So definitely we want as many people, organizations to support this event. It is going to be fantastic. So yes, thank you all so much.
Yes, that's awesome to hear. So let's see. I think that does it for the announcements or the upcoming events, I'll say. Now, we do have some announcements. The first one being that, yes, you can become an official member of BN. We have memberships, and these memberships include discounts to all ticketed events, gives you the ability to vote for board officer positions and also run for those positions. It's all part of building back better. Our organization is growing and we are seeing a lot of success, and we are doing a lot of good work in the community. So we encourage you to become an official member. It does have a lot of benefits. And so you can apply at bit.ly/BN official membership. Then we also have the Godless Gospel Music Project. So we're looking for singers, particularly tenors. This is a paid opportunity. We want you to submit your audition today. You can submit that audition at godlessgospel.org. And if you've been watching the live today, we already talked about how so many of the folks that are involved with us have talent, lots of talent, music talent, you name it. And so we know you're out there. And so please join the Godless Gospel Music Project. And as always, we're going to keep you posted on social media, on upcoming shows. Finally, if you're looking to give a great gift at any time of the year, pick up a copy of Name Dropping. It was created by previous In the Cut guest and newbie board member Deana Williams and Jesus Reyna. Name Dropping is the frustratingly fun movie trivia game. You can click on the link in the chat to purchase it today, namedropping.com. And yes, it is quite a good icebreaker for parties and so any kind of social event. At
SeaCon, we play at every SeaCon now. We're going to be playing. It's going to be available at the Revival Horizon as well. So it's fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up the show. That wraps up this episode. We hope that you enjoyed the show today and that you will join us again. As a reminder, we air every first and third Saturday of each month. So please don't forget to like this video and spread the word. You can follow us on Facebook at BlackNonbelievers, Instagram at BNonbelievers Inc., and X, formerly Twitter, at BNonbelievers. The B and the N are capitalized. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at BlackNonbelievers Inc. Our channel is now monetized, and we thank you all for tuning in and supporting us. You can find your local BN affiliate on Meetup or join them all. Remember, we're looking for new organizers, so be sure to fill out the form that is in the show's description. That's Volunteer with BN. You can learn more and make your tax-deductible donation at blacknonbelievers.org/donate. Tax time is coming, so if you're looking to, get some deductions or tax credits, this is the perfect time. Any time is the perfect time to donate to Black Nonbelievers. And if you want to represent BN even more, you can get your swag. We have shirts, hoodies, mugs, shot glasses, and more from our online store. That's blacknonbelievers.org/store-2. And Mandisa's looking good in the gold BN t-shirt today. And I'm going to be sporting what's it called? Gosh, I just blanked, and it was what I had said. It was the
Jesus
thrown under the bus.
so that
thrown under the
God
bus
could get
T-shirt.
clout. Woo!
So, yep.
I wore that yesterday. I wore that shirt
Yeah.
yesterday. Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. So, yes, we'll take care. And we will see you all next time. So, thanks again for joining.
Thank you. Bye-bye.